Billionaire Michael Coleman arrived home unannounced, and what he saw his maid doing with his triplets almost made him drop to his knees. The house that had been silent for 18 long months was suddenly filled with sounds he thought he would never hear again. Soft voices, quiet laughter, a tiny song floating through the hallway like a forgotten memory. Michael froze, his briefcase slipping from his fingers as he followed the sound with weak, shaking steps. He had left for a business trip 3 days earlier, expecting to come back to the same empty silence that had ruled his home ever since his wife died. But today something was different. Something felt alive inside the walls, and that alone terrified him. His mind raced with fear, confusion, hope, and anger all mixed together. Nothing in his life had prepared him for the moment he would push open the kitchen door and see the impossible. The one thing he had begged God for, but had also feared with every breath. His triplets, the same children who had not spoken a single word since the accident, were laughing and clinging to the new maid, Maya Johnson. The sight hit him in the chest like a heavy stone, because in that moment, Michael realized something painful, something ugly, something he did not want to accept. The maid had done what he, their own father, could not do. And that truth was about to tear his entire world apart. Michael Coleman pushed open the door of his Maple Hills mansion and stepped inside quietly. He had not planned to return home. He had not told anyone he was coming. He just felt something heavy in his heart, something he could not explain, something that pulled him back to this silent house. The air inside was cold, still, empty. The kind of emptiness that made a man feel smaller than his own shadow. Michael closed the door slowly and stood there for a moment without moving. His fingers shook as he held the handle. He whispered to himself, "I do not know why I came back." His voice sounded weak, almost like a stranger's voice. For the last 18 months, this house had felt like a grave. Not because of the walls or the furniture, but because of what used to live here. His wife, Sarah. His daughters, Emma, Chloe, and Hannah. Their laughter, their songs, their tiny footsteps running down the hallway. All of that disappeared the day Sarah died. Michael walked deeper into the living room. His shoes touched the floor softly as he looked around. The same couches, the same pictures on the wall, the same toys pushed into a corner. Nothing moved, nothing breathed, nothing changed. He placed his briefcase on the table and rubbed his face. His eyes were red. "Sarah," he whispered, "I am tired." He remembered the phone call, the hospital, the accident, the drunk driver, Sarah's quiet body on the bed, her ring still on her hand, her hair still soft. He remembered falling to his knees in the hallway of that hospital. He remembered the scream that came out of him, a scream that did not feel human. And he remembered the girls, 4 years old, tiny, innocent, beautiful, standing beside the coffin during the funeral, holding each other, staring at nothing. After that day, they stopped talking. No sound, no words, no laughter, only silence. He swallowed hard. He walked toward the staircase, wanting to check on them, but his legs stopped halfway. He was scared. Scared to see the same silence in their eyes again. Scared to feel like a stranger to his own children. Before he could move, a soft voice came from behind him. "Mr. Coleman." He turned. Linda Parker, the head housekeeper, stood there with a warm but tired face. She had served this house for more than 20 years, and she looked at Michael with the kind of eyes only someone who had watched a family break slowly could have. "You are home early," she said. Michael nodded. "I needed to come." Linda stepped closer. "Sir, the girls are in their room. They ate a little. They are holding each other like always." Michael pressed his lips together. His chin shook. "I do not know how to reach them, Linda." Linda sighed softly. "Sir, they are hurting, and you are hurting too." Michael looked away. "I try, Linda, I try every day, but I cannot fix this. They look at me like I am nothing." "You are not nothing," Linda replied gently. "But You are never here." The words hit him hard. He closed his eyes. She was right. Before he could speak, Linda continued. "Sir, I hired someone. You told me to hire help, so I did." Michael opened his eyes slowly. "Help?" "Yes, a young woman. Her name is Maya Johnson. She's from the South Side. She's been through pain too. She understands grief. She started 3 days ago." Michael frowned softly. "I did not know."
"You have been away," Linda said. Her tone was not rude, just honest. "She is gentle. She works quietly. I think she can help the girls." Michael let out a long breath. "Linda, no one can help them. I have brought doctors, therapists, specialists. Nothing changed." Linda's eyes softened. "Maybe they do not need a specialist. Maybe they need someone who is not afraid to sit with them, someone who understands broken hearts." Michael said nothing. He felt something in his chest move, but he pushed it down. He rubbed his forehead and asked, "Where is she now?" "In the kitchen," Linda replied. "She is cleaning." Michael hesitated. "Cleaning?" "Yes, sir." Linda lowered her voice. "And sometimes she sits by their door. Just sits there, quiet, patient." Michael did not know what to say. Linda stepped back. "Maybe you should meet her properly." Michael nodded slowly, even though a part of him wanted to run upstairs and hide from everything. But he walked toward the hallway that led to the kitchen. Each step felt heavy. His heart felt heavier. Halfway down the hallway, he stopped walking. He heard something. A very faint sound. A soft hum. A gentle voice. Someone singing very quietly. Michael froze. His breath caught in his throat. His eyes widened slightly, not in excitement, but in shock. "Humming," he whispered. No one had hummed in this house since his wife died. He took one slow step forward, then another. His fingers brushed the wall to keep himself steady. The humming grew clearer as he reached the end of the hallway. Then he heard another sound. A soft rustle. A tiny movement, almost like a child shifting on a chair. He stopped again. Fear ran through him. Hope, too. Pain, too. He placed his hand on the kitchen door. His palm was shaking badly. "What is happening in there?" he whispered. He pushed the door gently, just a little. Warm light spilled out, soft, calm. Too calm for a house that had been dead for months. Michael swallowed hard. He was scared to look inside. Scared of what he might see. Scared of what he might not see. He pushed the door a little more. Through the small opening, he saw a figure. A woman. Sitting on a small chair, her back slightly bent, her hands held close to her body, her voice humming a slow tune. Maya. It was Maya. Then he saw something else. Something that made his fingers turn cold. Something that made his legs feel weak. 3 tiny shadows sat on the floor near her, very close, too close. His triplets. Emma, Chloe, Hannah, sitting near the maid, watching her, listening to her. Not silent, not empty, alive. Michael's knees almost gave out. The girls moved slightly. Chloe held her sister's hand. Hannah's tiny lips parted like she wanted to breathe a word she had been holding for too long. Michael felt weak. His heart felt tight. A sharp pain spread through his chest, not from anger, but from something much deeper. Something that felt like shame. Something that felt like loss. Something that felt like he was watching a piece of his children slip away from him. Before he could stop himself, he stepped inside. The floor creaked under his shoe. and the soft humming stopped. Maya turned her head sharply. Her eyes widened a little when she saw him, like she didn't expect him to be home. She stood up slowly from the small chair, her hands held close to her body. Her voice was soft, almost shaking. "Maya, Mr. Coleman." The girls looked at Michael quietly, their heads tilted slightly, their breaths gentle. But something about them was different. There was a softness in their eyes he hadn't seen in a long time, a softness that did not come from him. Michael swallowed slowly. "What is happening?" His voice came out low and rough, almost like he had forgotten how to use it. Maya looked down at the girls before she answered. She didn't want to frighten them. "Sir, they came here by themselves. I was just cleaning, and they sat on the floor. I started humming a church song, and they stayed." Michael took another step forward. His knees felt weak. "They haven't done this in months." Maya nodded. "I know, sir." Silence filled the room again. A painful silence, a silence that Michael felt deep in his bones. He stepped closer to his daughters. He knelt slowly on one knee, trying not to scare them. "Emma, baby, is everything all right?" Emma's tiny chin shook. Her little hand tightened around Chloe's. Her eyes filled with something that hurt Michael's heart. She looked at him like she wanted to move closer, but didn't know if it was safe. He stretched his hand toward her but stopped halfway. He didn't want to push her. He didn't want to break whatever small thing was happening.
"Daddy is here," he whispered gently. "Daddy is here, sweetheart." Emma blinked. A tear rolled down her cheek, slow and heavy. Not a loud tear, not a crying tear, a quiet tear. A tear that carried too much pain for a child. Michael felt his own tears come. He wiped them with the back of his hand. "Why did you come here?" he asked quietly. "Why did you come to the kitchen, my love?" Emma tilted her head to the side and looked at Maya. Then she looked back at Michael. Her lips parted softly. Her small voice tried to rise. A sound. Just a sound. Not a word. But it broke something deep inside Michael. His hands shook. His tears fell. He covered his face for a moment, unable to breathe. When he lowered his hands, he whispered, "Maya, please, what did you do?" Maya lowered her eyes. "Nothing special, sir. I just see them. That is all. Many people look at them like they are broken. I do not. I know grief. I know silence. I know what it feels like to be hurting inside and still wake up each day." Michael stared at her. His voice broke again. "You are a maid. I brought doctors. I brought specialists. I brought the best people money can buy. Why you?" Maya looked him in the eyes now. She was not rude. She was not proud. But her voice was honest. "Sir, children do not need money to feel safe. They need hands that will stay. They need someone who sits on the floor with them, someone who does not run when they cry, someone who sees them." The words hit Michael like a blade. Stay. He had not stayed. Not once. He had left because the house reminded him of Sarah. He had left because the silence scared him. He had left because the girls' silence made him feel like a failure. He had left them alone with their pain. Suddenly, Chloe stood up. Her little legs wobbled. She stepped closer to Maya and touched her arm gently. Then she looked back at Michael. Her eyes were soft, her lips trembling, her small voice tiny. Maya." Michael froze. The world froze. Everything inside him stopped. "Maya," Chloe whispered. One word. A small word.
but it felt like a mountain falling. Michael covered his mouth. His breath broke with a painful sound. Chloe had spoken. After 18 months, she had spoken. Maya gasped softly. She knelt and placed her hand on Chloe's back. "Sweetheart, it is all right. Take your time." Chloe leaned into her, like she trusted her, like she felt safe in that arm. Michael could not breathe. Not from anger, not from shock, from heartbreak. His child said another woman's name before his. "I have lost them." He did not mean to say it out loud, but he did. Maya shook her head. "No, sir. You did not lose them. They are not gone. They are hurt. That is different." Michael wiped his tears. "I do not know how to reach them. I do not know how to be a father anymore." Maya stood slowly. Her voice was calm. "You can learn, Mr. Coleman. But you must stop running. They feel it when you leave. They feel it deeper than you know." Michael nodded slowly. Everything inside him felt crushed. He felt small. He felt empty. He felt ashamed. He looked at his children again. They stared back, not in fear, not in anger, but with something else. A quiet plea, a quiet question, a quiet hope. He whispered, "I am sorry." But before he could say more, a loud noise came from upstairs. A crash, a heavy drop, like something falling hard. The girls jumped. Maya stood fast. Michael's heart stopped for a second. "What was that?" he whispered. Linda's distant voice yelled from upstairs, full of fear. "Mr. Coleman, come quickly. It's the girls' room." Michael's body went cold. He ran. Michael ran up the staircase so fast that his feet almost slipped. His hands grabbed the rail, his breath came out rough and broken, and his heart felt like something was squeezing it tight. He could hear Linda calling again from the girls' room. Her voice was shaky. Her voice was scared. "Sir, please hurry." Michael opened the door quickly and stepped inside. His eyes swept the room fast. One of the small wooden chairs was on the floor. The lamp beside the bed had fallen and rolled near the door. The curtains were slightly moving like someone had pulled them. But what caught his eyes first was Emma. She was standing in the corner of the room, her tiny body shaking, her little hands pressed against her ears, her face filled with fear. Chloe and Hannah were beside the bed, holding each other tightly, hiding their faces in each other's shoulders. Michael's breath left him. He felt like the floor pushed up into his chest. He moved toward them quickly and knelt. "What happened?" he whispered, his voice shaking. Linda stood near the window, trying to catch her breath. "Sir, I heard a loud sound. When I came in, the girls were like this." He looked around again. Nothing broken, nothing dangerous. So why were they terrified? Michael turned to his daughters. "Girls, it's all right," he said quietly. But they did not look at him. Emma pressed her back against the wall, her body stiff like she was hiding from something only she could see. She squeezed her eyes shut. Michael stopped moving. His chest tightened painfully. She did not want him near her. Maya, who had followed him upstairs but stayed in the hallway, stepped quietly into the room. She did not rush. She did not speak loudly. She just knelt at a small distance from Emma. She whispered, "Emma, sweetheart, can I come closer?" Emma opened one eye slightly. Her breathing was fast, shaky, messy. She stared at Maya, then nodded a little. Maya moved closer, slow like she was walking on soft glass. She opened her arms gently. Emma ran straight into them, not to her father, but to Maya. She buried her face in Maya's shoulder and cried silently. Her whole body shook in Maya's embrace.
Michael felt like the air was knocked out of him. His legs weakened. He grabbed the bed frame to keep himself steady. His eyes burned as tears formed again. He whispered under his breath, "They trust her more than me." Linda looked at him with sad eyes. "Sir, they are scared. They need safety." Michael felt the words hit him deeply. Emma clung to Maya tightly. Chloe and Hannah moved closer too, their small hands holding Maya's shirt like she was the only safe place in the room. Maya held all three of them tightly, her face soft, her touch gentle, her voice calm. "It is all right, my babies. You are safe. Nothing will hurt you." Michael watched the scene quietly. His heart broke more with each second. He moved slowly to sit on the edge of the bed. His shoulders dropped. His hands fell weakly beside him. When the girls calmed down a little, Maya looked at him. Her voice was low. "Sir, may I speak with you?" Michael wiped his face with his sleeve. "Yes." She looked at Linda. "Please stay with the girls for a moment." Linda nodded and sat on the rug, pulling the girls close to her. Maya stood and walked toward the hallway. Michael followed her. They stepped out and closed the door gently so the girls would not hear. Maya turned to face him. Her eyes were full of something heavy and sad. "Sir, something triggered them," she said. "Something reminded them of the day their mother left this world." Michael swallowed hard. "But there was no danger. Nothing happened." Maya shook her head. "Sir, trauma does not need danger. Trauma remembers. Trauma hears things you do not hear." Michael leaned against the wall, tired. He whispered, "I do not know how to help them." Maya stepped closer. Her voice lowered. "Sir, when you left the house so often, they felt alone. When they cry and you are not here, it becomes heavier. They think you left because of them." Michael felt a knife twist in his chest. "No," he whispered. "I did not leave because of them. I left because every room reminded me of Sarah. I left because I felt like I could not breathe in this house." Maya nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "And they felt the same, sir. But the difference is that they are children. They do not know how to run from pain. They only know how to hide in silence." Michael covered his face with both hands. He felt like the worst father alive. Maya continued gently. "They are trying, sir. They want to feel safe. They tried to come close to you before, but the pain in your eyes scared them. Children understand emotions more than words. When they look at you, they see sadness, and it makes them freeze." Michael lowered his hands and stared at the floor. "So, what do I do?" he asked quietly. "How do I protect them when I do not even know how to protect myself?" Maya hesitated, then said something she had been holding in her heart. "Sir, you need to stay. Not for a day, not for a week. You must stay emotionally. Stay even when it hurts. Stay even when you want to run. Stay until silence becomes trust." Michael looked up at her. Tears fell from his eyes onto the hallway floor. "I am trying. I'm really trying." "I know," she said softly. "But the girls cannot see effort. They can only feel presence." Michael nodded slowly. His chin shook. "I want to fix this. I want to be their father again." Maya looked at him with gentle eyes. "Then you must sit in the pain you have been running from." He sank into the hallway chair, weak and tired. How did everything fall apart like this? Maya sat beside him. "Sir, grief does not break a family in one day. It breaks it slowly. It breaks it when everyone is quiet.
It breaks it when the pain is too heavy for anyone to talk about. They sat in silence for a long moment. Heavy silence. Painful silence. Then Linda opened the door a crack. Her voice was soft. "Sir, the girls are asking for Maya." Michael nodded. His voice barely came out. "Let her go." Maya stepped back inside. The triplets reached for her instantly. Their small hands pulled her close again. Michael watched them. He knew something now. Something painful. Something true. If he did not change soon, he would lose his children completely. And the thought of that almost crushed him. The night inside the Maple Hills mansion felt heavy. The kind of heavy that sat on the walls and refused to move. After the incident in the girls' room, Michael could not sleep. He paced the hallway quietly, stopping near the door every few minutes just to listen. He wanted to hear them breathe. He wanted to know they were safe. He never felt so scared as he felt tonight. Not even the day he lost Sarah. That day broke him, yes, but this night made him feel like he was losing the last pieces of his family. He leaned his back against the hallway wall and rubbed his face with both hands. His voice cracked as he whispered to himself, "What am I doing wrong?" Down the hallway, Maya was still in the girls' room. She had refused to leave until the triplets fell asleep. She sat on the rug with her back against the wall, her legs stretched out, her hand resting gently on Hannah's tiny foot. Linda sat on the other side of the room, watching over the girls like she always did. The lamps were dim. The room was quiet.
Maya hummed the same soft church song she had hummed in the kitchen earlier. This time her voice was lower, slower, full of the kind of warmth a broken child could hold on to. Emma lay beside Chloe. Chloe held Hannah's fingers. Their bodies were close, almost touching Maya's knee. They were finally falling asleep, breathing softly. But their sleep was not peaceful. Even in their dreams, their little faces showed pain. Maya looked down at them with eyes full of pity. She whispered to Linda, "They are carrying too much for their age." Linda nodded, her own eyes wet. "I know. Losing their mother was too hard, but losing their father to silence hurt them more." Maya sighed. She had seen this kind of brokenness before. When her sister passed away, her nephew had shut down too. Pain makes children quiet. Pain makes them older than they should be. When the girls finally drifted into sleep, Maya stood slowly and stepped outside the room. She walked into the hallway to find Michael sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall, his elbows on his knees, his face buried in his hands. She sat beside him quietly, leaving a small space between them. She did not want to intrude, but she could feel the heaviness around him. "Sir," she whispered gently, "they are asleep." Michael lifted his head slowly. His eyes were red. His voice sounded tired. "How are they?" asked he. "They are shaken, but they will be all right for tonight." Michael nodded and exhaled slowly. "I do not understand why a little noise scared them this much." Maya spoke in a low voice. "Sir, trauma hides in small things. A sound, a movement, a shadow. Anything can remind them of pain. The day their mother died, something inside them froze. They are still living inside that day." Michael closed his eyes. "And I have not helped them heal." Maya hesitated, but she spoke honestly. "You have been trying, sir, but you have been trying from far away." Michael leaned his head back against the wall. He stared at the ceiling with tired eyes. "I thought keeping distance would protect me.
I thought I could hide from the memories, but I did not think about what they needed. Maya nodded gently. They need presents. Not gifts, not trips, not new toys. They need a father who sits with them, even when he doesn't know what to say. Michael sighed deeply. I am scared to face them sometimes. I feel like I am looking at my wife's face in 3 small mirrors. It hurts, Maya. It hurts so much. Maya looked at him with a soft expression. Sir, grief hurts worst when you try to handle it alone. He turned his head slowly toward her. He looked lost. So what do I do? She touched the floor with her fingertips lightly. Start small. Sit with them in the morning. Sit with them at night. You do not need to talk much. Just be there. Let them feel your warmth. Let them see that you are not leaving again. Her words moved through him like a quiet storm. Michael swallowed hard. I want to do that. I want to change. For the first time since she met him, Maya saw a real softness in his face, not anger, not confusion, not guilt. Just a man who was tired of running. She spoke again, her voice steady. Sir, you can be a good father. I can see it. But you need to fight for them. Fight harder than grief, harder than fear. Michael looked straight ahead, breathing slowly. I will fight. They sat there quietly, listening to the soft sound of the girl's breathing behind the door. After a few minutes, Michael stood. His legs felt sore from sitting on the cold floor. He stretched his back a little and rubbed his arm. Thank you, Maya, he said quietly. Maya stood beside him. It is all right, sir. We are all hurting in this house. We just need to help each other. Michael nodded. He strained his shirt and wiped the last tear from his face. I want to see them. Maya opened the door for him. They stepped inside quietly. The girls were lying close to each other, small and fragile on the large bed. Michael walked closer and knelt beside them. His hand shook as he brushed Emma's hair softly. I am here, he whispered. I am not leaving again. Emma turned slightly in her sleep, as if she heard him. Hannah moved closer to Chloe, her fingers tightening around her sister's. Michael's tears fell silently on the bedsheet. Maya watched him from the doorway. Linda stood beside her. Linda whispered, This is the first time he's knelt beside them at night. Maya nodded. He loves them. He just doesn't know how to show it yet. Michael whispered something again. I am so sorry, my babies. I am so sorry for everything. He stayed like that for a long time, his hand resting gently on their little arms. When he finally stood up and turned toward Maya, his voice was unsteady. I cannot lose them. Maya stepped forward a little. You won't lose them, sir, but you must change before they lose themselves again. Michael nodded slowly. He knew she was right, and the truth scared him. He stepped outside the room and leaned against the hallway wall again. His head fell back, his eyes closed. Maya stepped out too. She was about to walk away when Michael spoke softly. Maya, stay close to them, please. I will, she replied. But you must stay too. Her words hung in the air. Michael breathed deeply. For the first time in 18 long, painful months, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. A small, quiet hope. But hope came with fear, and fear came with a warning. Tomorrow would not be easy.
Morning came slowly in the Coleman mansion. The sun rose quietly, touching the walls with soft light, but the house did not feel new. It felt fragile, like one wrong move could break everything inside it again.
Michael barely slept. He sat in the living room with his head down, his elbows on his knees. He watched the doorway like he was waiting for something, or someone. He heard small footsteps coming down the stairs, soft, careful. Not playful steps, not happy steps. The triplets entered the living room, holding hands like always. Emma, Chloe, Hannah. 3 small girls who once filled the house with life, now looking tired and slow. They stopped a few feet away from him. They stared at him quietly. Their little faces showed fear and hope at the same time. Michael sat up straight. He wiped the sleep from his eyes and tried to smile, but it hurt too much. "Good morning, girls," he said softly. None of them answered, but they did not run away either. That alone felt like a miracle. He patted the sofa beside him. "Come sit with Daddy." They looked at each other, searching for courage in the eyes of a sister. Then Emma took one small step, just one. Michael's breath caught. He waited. He did not move. Chloe followed her twin. Hannah moved last. All 3 climbed onto the sofa slowly and sat beside him, but not too close. There was a small space between them, like a line they were scared to cross. Michael did not push them. He just sat there, staring at their little faces, feeling his heart ache with love and regret. "I missed you," he whispered. "I missed you so much." The girls lowered their eyes. They did not answer, but their bodies leaned slightly in his direction, just a little. Maya entered the room quietly, carrying a tray with breakfast. Her eyes landed on the scene in front of her, and a small smile touched her lips. This was big. This was the beginning of something. She placed the tray on the table and said gently, "Good morning, sweet girls." This time something changed. Chloe looked at Maya. Emma tilted her head. Hannah opened her mouth slightly. "Good." The word dropped from Hannah's lips before she could finish. Her voice was tiny, dry, almost broken, but it was there. Michael closed his eyes. His lips trembled. His daughter had spoken again. Maya placed her hand over her chest, shocked and touched. "Good morning, Hannah," she replied softly. The little girl blinked quickly, like she was surprised she even spoke. Michael leaned closer. "It is all right, baby. You can talk. It is safe." The 3 girls moved closer to Maya, their bodies almost touching her arm. She sat on the rug to sit at their level. Michael watched the connection with a mix of love and heartbreak. His girls felt safe with her. They trusted her. She was the bridge he could not build alone. He swallowed hard and said, "Maya, thank you." She looked at him calmly. "Sir, it is not only me. Children come back when they feel seen. You are trying now, and they feel it." Michael lowered his head. Trying was not enough. He needed to do more. He needed to show them he would never run again. He stood slowly. "Girls," he said, "can Daddy show you something?" They looked up at him with soft, scared eyes. He pulled something from the drawer near the couch. A small photo. Their mother Sarah, holding all 3 of them when they were babies. The girls froze. Their eyes filled with tears instantly. Michael knelt in front of them. His voice cracked as he spoke slowly. "This is your mom. She loved you so much, and she would not want you to cry alone. She would want you to talk. She would want you to laugh. She would want you to live." Emma covered her face with her small hands. Chloe held her sister's shoulder. Hannah leaned into Maya and cried softly. Michael reached out slowly. He did not touch them until they allowed him. Emma moved her little hand toward him first. She placed her fingers on his wrist. Chloe followed. Hannah moved last. All 3 climbed onto the sofa slowly and sat beside him, but not too close.
There was a small space between them, like a line they were scared to cross. Michael did not push them. He just sat there staring at their little faces, feeling his heart ache with love and regret. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm not leaving again. I promise." The girls held on to him tightly, their tiny bodies shaking with emotion. Maya watched with wet eyes. She did not speak. This moment was for them. A father finally touching the pain he had been running from. Children finally feeling the warmth they feared they lost forever. After a long time, the girls calmed down. They sat on their father's lap quietly, their heads resting against his chest. For the first time in 18 painful months, they looked peaceful. Maya wiped her face and spoke gently. "Sir, you should take them outside. Let them breathe the morning air. Maybe sit under the tree their mother loved." Michael nodded. "That is a good idea." He lifted the girls one by one, carrying them outside to the backyard. The wind moved slowly. The grass felt soft under their small feet. The same spot where Sarah once sat with them. The same place that held their happiest memories. They sat under the tree, Michael on the grass, his daughters leaning against him. Maya stood at the back door watching quietly. Linda stood behind her with a smile. The girls whispered to each other softly. Then Chloe looked at Michael. She opened her mouth. Her voice came out, small but clear.
"Daddy, stay."
Michael felt his entire body break and heal at the same time. He hugged her tight. "I will stay," he whispered. "Every day, every night, I will stay. I promise." Emma looked up at him. "Forever?" Michael nodded with tears rolling down his cheeks. "Yes, baby, forever." Hannah rested her head on his chest and whispered, "Mommy would like that." Michael closed his eyes, holding his daughters tight. "I know she would." Maya stepped outside and walked toward them slowly. She sat beside them quietly. Michael looked at her, his voice full of gratitude. "Thank you, Maya. You helped me find my daughters again." Maya smiled softly. "You did not find them alone, sir. You let yourself feel again. That is what brought them back." The sun warmed the backyard. The girls leaned on both of them. Father and daughters. A maid who became a healer. A broken family learning to breathe again. For the first time in a long time, the Coleman house was not silent. It was alive, soft, healing. Michael whispered one last time, "We are going to be all right." And for the first time, the girls believed him. Dear viewers, this story reminds us that even in the quiet places where pain hides, love can still grow again when someone chooses to stay. Michael Coleman was a man with everything money could give, but he almost lost the only gift that mattered, the love of his daughters. And Maya, a woman the world saw as a simple maid, became the bridge that brought a broken family back to life. This story teaches us that healing is slow, love is patient,
And sometimes the strongest people in the house are the ones who walked through pain in silence. It teaches us that children do not need perfect parents. They need present ones. It teaches us that forgiveness can open doors that grief tried to close forever. Dear viewers, while you are here, tell us in the comments where you are watching from and what you learned from this story. Your comments help others find this message of hope. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can receive stories that touch the heart and remind us of the power of love. If you want more emotional stories from us, comment more stories, and you will be the first to receive the next touching story we release. Before you go, answer these 3 questions in the comments section. Do you believe a father can learn to love again after breaking down emotionally? If you were in Maya's place, would you stay and help the children heal, or walk away from the pain? What part of this story touched your heart the most?